cross-examination the witness's account. We saw the whole thing from start to finish. We did everything from the moment they went in the building. Maybe we can get more details here of who went into the building.
Hold it!
When you say they, who do you mean exactly? Inspector Gregson and the defendant, Lord Van Zykes? I suppose so. The likes of us don't know the names of the high and mighty. But I tell you one thing, it was the old Reaper that went in last. That's for sure and certain. Just behind Inspector Gregson. Did they arrive at the same time as each other? No, not at all. First fella must have gone inside a good 15 minutes before we heard the gunshot. The victim arrived 15 minutes before. Are you sure about that? Am I sure? Am I sure? Does it seem likely that I'd forgotten a fella with bright red hair like that, does it? Yeah, his hair was really red, weren't it? Redder than my flaming fireworks, even. The fiery red mop still burnt on the inside of my eyelids, it is. Wait a minute, you're saying the man was a redhead? Were you listening, chum? He was a redhead. And he had a big trunk with him as well. Trunk? But Inspector Gregson's hair isn't red. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, but we found the wig, so... It seems likely that the person you saw wasn't in fact Inspector Gregson at all, but some other third party. No, I hate to break it to you, but the witnesses are correct. What? Just have a look at this photograph of the victim taken at the scene. Yes, that's Inspector Gregson, all right. And a red hairpiece. That could have been placed on him, though. Ah. Of course, we saw one on the floor when we investigated the scene, didn't we? I still refuse to believe Inspector Gregson wore a hairpiece, though. So then why on earth would he have been wearing something like that? The colour does seem to suit the man, one might say. The photograph will be submitted as evidence, please, counsel. Photograph of the victim has been entered into the court record. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about this trunk thing, but we'll have a look at this photograph first, though. Not much to go. I mean, it's not under his head, it's over his head, so it could have easily been placed on his head by someone. Huh. But yeah, not much to go on at all. Other than that wig. Okay. And what became of the trunk that the red-headed victim was supposedly carrying? I was informed that no trunk was found at the scene. So it just disappeared. What do you expect us to have been watching the building every second, do you? We definitely saw him in the dock going in, though. No question about that. It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside that we all heard a big bang.
Hold it!
I'm just going to end up pressing on all of these because, like, I need more details. Like, they're giving me so much, but it's just opening up more questions. By which, presumably, you mean the gunshot. I sell these little things, don't I? How would I know what a gunshot sounds like? But I've always thought it probably sounds a bit... like this, doesn't it? And you say that you heard the noise almost as soon as you saw the defendant here enter the building. That's right. It was almost straight away. Bang, it went. Just like that. Well, he's the Reaper, isn't he? It's what the French call a fait accompli. And the Reaper's around, people are going in the ground. I mean, that's what he does, isn't it? I think we get the message. The Reaper couldn't allow the Inspector to live after he discovered his secret hideout. There can be no clearer motive for the crime. Yes. It's certainly an eminently credible motive. Great. And at that point, you ran inside, is that correct? It seems to me that quick to talk is quick to walk. Gossip couldn't wait to go and see what had happened.
Hold it!
So, when Gossip ran in to see what happened, did you go too? Well, me, I'm a bit hampered, you see. All the signs I can't move very well. You were away behind, presumably? With that sandwich board around your neck and that big sign in your hand. What a great burden you bear. Pardon me for asking, Mr. Sandwich, but is it possible that you and I have met before? I'm not anybody, me. The signs are what make me who I am now. I sign, therefore I am. So, you weren't employed as an omnibus driver just under a year ago then? I might be mistaken, but I believe his trembling has intensified, Mr. Nedahodo. Yes, I agree. He's clearly been through a lot. It's like, what does it say there? Like, I'm not sure. Like, actual hero? I don't know. Turn down King Angry Street and the Black Widower's Arms is just there. Oh dear, you've made him hide behind his sign. Life is full of surprises. I ran into the room and there he was, the Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body.
Hold it!
So then, you were the first person to arrive on the scene? Is that right? That was. Kicked the door open like a professional I did and yelled out, "What's going on here?" Lord Van Zyx claims all he heard was a man's scream though. And was it dark inside the room? No, not dark at all. There were candles burning on the wall. Really? And there was a fella collapsed on the floor. Just between us, it's the first thing I noticed when I got inside. Ah, I see. Even though Lord Van Zyx claims not to have seen any such lights on the wall. Next thing I noticed was someone standing right beside the body. The accused, Balak Van Zyx. That's right, pale-faced Reaper himself. I was a little shocked, I won't deny it. But I'm no lily-livered coward. I stood my ground. And gave the Reaper a cold, hard stare myself. Hello?
Excuse me!
Do you have something to add, Mr. Sandwich? Well? There's really nothing to me. Empty in the head I am. Just 2 slices with no middle. An empty sandwich. So I don't know what you could want with me. I think that maybe you just remembered something. Having heard Mr. Gossip's last statement, I mean. What I think is, we're all nothings, really. We try to dress ourselves up as something else, but at the end of the day, we're all just street sellers. That's enough out of you, Sandwich. Keep your trap shut now. Unless you want us to make you into a real sandwich. When he saw the Reaper, he fell clean over his own backside. That's it? Oh, you rotten beggar. I told you to keep that a secret. He screamed, he did. Screamed and scrambled off on all 4s. That's all I wanted to say. Mr. Gossip, is this true? The floor was dead slippery, that's why. Planted my hand in a filthy pool of blood, didn't I? Yuck. Is your handprint the one on the notice board? So that would have been on the floor then. How did the pins get there? Huh, yuck. What? A pool of blood? But listen here. Even though I was sprawled on the floor, I still kept giving the Reaper a cold, hard stare. Don't you forget it. Let's just go back a little. Did you just say you got blood on your hand? I did. Happens to be the best of us at times, doesn't it? So I was scared, so I slipped over. We can keep it just between us, can't we? No, Mr. Gossip, I'm going to have to ask you to add that information to your formal testimony. Oh, if I must. The witness will amend his testimony to include the aforementioned details at once. Well. I slipped over and got blood on my hand, so I quickly wiped it off on the floor. Let's give it a go.
Objection!
So you wiped off the blood from your hand on the floor of the room? Are you quite sure about that? Well, what else do you expect me to have done, eh? Does it really matter?
Objection!
The police found no such handprint on the floor during their investigations. What exactly is the defense asserting? If you listen, you'll find out, Prosecutor Asogi. Ooh. Biting back. Certainly, there was no bloody handprint found on the floor. What are you trying to say? There was a handprint in blood left very clearly at the scene. On the back of this notice board. And such. Ah, yes, indeed. Indisputably a handprint in the distinctive color of blood. Red. Oh, you're dead right. That's my right hand. I'd know it anywhere. Hot actual hero.
Objection!
It seems like it says actual hero. Does anyone else think it says something else? If you do, let me know, because I don't think it says actual hero. So I'm clearly reading it wrong and I can't see anything else. The witnesses very definitely testified that he wiped his hand on the floor. Any handprints on the back of the board are irrelevant.
Objection!
So how the bloody hell did it get there? Not if the board itself had fallen over onto the floor. In that case, it's quite possible for the witness's handprint to have ended up there. Just look at the floor plan of the room. The notice board was in the opposite corner of the room to the victim, and in an upright position, so the door knocked it over? Even if it had somehow been toppled and was lying on the floor at the time. It would have been a considerable distance from the body. I fell over when I came across the body. So I was basically right next to the corpse, not on the other side of the room. In other words, the defense's assertion is contradictory. Yeah, but there's stuff going on here that makes the entire statement contradictory, doesn't it? That's the point. Yes, it is. There's a very definite contradiction here, for which there must be a reason. I take it that you formulated a proper hypothesis, counsel? Regarding this apparent discrepancy between the witness's account and the handprint found at the scene? I have, my lord. The discrepancy between the witness's account and the location of the handprint is explained by the board moving. The real contradiction here is the handprint itself, not where it was found. As the court can see, it's upside down. Good gracious, so it is. If the witness had put his hand against the board, the finger should be pointing upwards. What does that tell us? It tells us one simple fact. When this handprint was made, the board must have been lying on the floor as I previously suggested. Which means that after the incident, it must have been moved. What?
Objection!
You're claiming that somebody moved the notice board after the shooting? Then tell the court who. I don't know that yet. But the point is, when you consider all the testimony we've heard so far, we can now be very clear on one point. And that would be the position of the notice board at the time of the incident, my lord. So, counsel, I must ask you to clarify your assertion for the court. At the time of the incident, where do you maintain the notice board was situated? It could only have been like here.
Take that!
Hiding the body, you know. This is the only possible location. Immediately adjacent to the doorway? If the court would think back to the testimony given by the defendant earlier, he said that when he entered the room, it was dark, and he couldn't see the body. Boyek! If the notice board had been here, the body would have been completely hidden from view, and the light from the candles would have been blocked, making the room appear darker.
Objection!
You can't object to that, but the accused also claims that the victim's body simply appeared before him. That's true. Or, in his precise words, just as I picked up the firearm to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. I don't know about calling it a scream, but he was talking about me and no mistake. Because it was me that kicked the door open. If you look again at the floor plan, consider what would have happened if the door to the room was thrown open with force. Bang. That can't... The door struck the notice board, knocking it over and making the victim's body visible. Good gracious. My client has told nothing but the truth. He has simply described what he saw. Ah. Order, counsel. How has this not come to light before now? After the incident, somebody must have righted the board and moved it into the position where the police, myself, and my colleagues saw it when we were investigating the room. Witness, what have you to say for yourself? What? Me, my lord? You and your fellows were there at the scene before anybody else. It was about saying that you must know something about the position of the notice board. The witnesses in the stand will testify again. You will explain exactly what you did upon arriving at the scene of the crime. Stop looking over your glasses at me. I get the message. Right, witness testimony, what we got? The mystery of the moving board. I don't know nothing about that there notice board. I just wiped my hand on it is all. Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time. Were you? I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. Just a sign at the crossroads of life. It was the Reaper, I bet. He's got a face that screams bored. What? I can't see how that changes anything anyway. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot. So none of you can elaborate further. I want to know about this, like, what she said, though. Was about the, she was doing business with some second years. Shaken by the crime they witnessed, and with only the light of a few candles and an oil lamp by which to see, we can't expect these witnesses to be able to give a more precise account of what happened. That's right. Yeah, it don't pay to expect too much. It's man's endless quest for knowledge that's destroying the world. That's what I think. Do you? Really? In any case, as this testimony shows, even if the notice board was moved by somebody following the incident, it makes no difference. When the gunshot rang out, the accused was the only person at the scene. In short, the only person who could possibly have committed this crime is Barak van Zykes. None of this wrangling over the board changes that simple fact. Quite so, quite so. Does the defense still wish to cross-examine the witnesses despite the circumstances? Most certainly, my lord. Very well, then you may proceed, counsel. I want to go straight to that second statement. The mystery of the moving board. I don't know anything about that there notice board. Just wipe my hand on it, that's all. Now don't look at me, I haven't got a clue about it. I was just doing business. Some second years at the time. What do you mean? Give more details on that, please.
Hold it!
When you say you were doing business with them, you mean you were selling them fireworks? Yeah, what else? There's the priory school just around the corner, see? Those cheeky little so-and-sos have got a plan to blow their school to kingdom come. So I've been telling on them, letting their teachers know what they're up to. Oh, you have? Yeah, wouldn't want anyone to get hurt. So I let the school know the kids are playing with dodgy toys. Then, praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks off them. And then, praise the Lord again, the kids all come back to buy, come back to me to buy more. Yeah, everyone's happy, you see? What a racket. Of course. And sometimes the teachers give me a little bonus to thank me for letting them know. It's a busy old life selling explosives. Venus is a guileful goddess indeed. Well, telling Bear... Alright, telling Bear... It's like, what is going on? Telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing, really. I'm ever so good at it. And what's going on with you, then? Like, what's happening here?
Excuse me!
Something wrong, Mr. Sandwich? If I said it was, could we just leave it at that? Would that be the end of it? No. Did Miss Vita's statement just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Philosophical thoughts. Deep philosophical thoughts. Let's say there was a great liar. And that great liar said, without batting an eye, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing. I'm ever so good at it. Would those words of hers be a lie too, or the truth? In which case, she's not a liar. Oh, it's a hellish paradox, that one. Don't you think? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But it seems to me you're suggesting Miss Venus has been lying, are you? That's a yes. What are you on about, old man? Trying to cause trouble, are you? Keep on like that. And I'll wrap your whole body in fireworks and set them off. That'll give you something to tremble about. You have a startlingly disturbing mind between that sweet and innocent face, young lady. It's potentially just said I'll murder you. You're not gonna know. Alright then. So, Miss Venus has lied in her testimony. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Sandwich? Well, if it means I'll be burning in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Can you elaborate, please, sir? Oh, blabbermouth here, headed for the room where the gunshots seemed to come from. But there was someone else who crept up the stairs behind him, too. That's right. That rotten liar over there. Do you mean to say that you did in fact betake yourself to the scene of the crime after all? What did I tell you, eh? Ow! I said I was good at telling barefaced lies, didn't I? Yes, you mentioned it. Well, that revelation rocked the whole courtroom, didn't it? Who knew firecrackers packed such a punch? So you did indeed visit the scene of the crime, did you, young lady? Good grief. Well, now you come to mention it. I suppose perhaps I do clearly remember climbing the stairs to the room, yeah. Either you clearly remember it or you don't. Well, I shall consider a fitting punishment for this perjurious act later. For the time being, we'll immediately amend your testimony to reflect the truth. Oh yes, my lord, of course. Right, so obviously we'll press on that. Maybe I did sneak along behind gossip and have a little peek into the room where it all happened.
Hold it!
You make a habit of lying, do you, Miss Venus? Well, I suppose so. I don't really know, to be fair. If you want my advice, though, I'd take everything I say with a pinch of salt. A big one. Alright, but you did in fact go into the room where the victim was killed on the day in question, didn't you? Oh, please. As if I would. I can't think of anything more terrifying. The truth, please. Well, alright, just a bit then. I mean, a girl my age is curious about stuff, you know. Did you touch anything at the scene? Oh, please, as if I would. I mean, there was a dead body on the floor. The truth, please. Well, alright, just a bit then. I'd had a look to see if there was anything I could sell. So, I did give the place a once-over, but there was nothing to write home about. What did you take? Right, now I hesitate to ask, but you didn't move the notice board by any chance, did you? I feel like she's taken something. Oh please, as if I would touch anything like that. Just a few bits of loose change is all I had. The truth, please. Well, alright then. I thought there might be something worth having underneath it. So I blasted the flipping thing. Sorry, flipped the blasted thing. You're telling us that you did move the board? I think that did slip out, didn't it? What? You daft bomb pot. I don't believe it. The girl doesn't think. So, did you find anything then? Something that you might have taken, perhaps? To sell? Oh, please, I should be so lucky. The truth now. I might have found this old bucket watch underneath the notice board, I suppose. Maybe it was crushed and it tells a different time of death, maybe. But a bit of junk like this can't be worth much if you ask. Ah! So it's you, was it? You're the one who took it. Gina? Young lady, may I remind you where you are? That watch there. That was a present to Inspector Gregson from the yard for a big case solved 10 years ago. The professor case, no doubt. The boss used to wind it up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub. I see. I swiped it off him once and blimey was he upset. He gave me a right earful. Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years. Polishing it and winding it. It meant the world to him, that watch did. Possibly not the best thing to go diving for then. It's not all that though. I took it to Jabez's that night to ask how much it was worth, but the old dealer wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't give me a penny for it. Said it wasn't working. Knocked about and worthless, he called it. I knew I should have lifted it. Oh my. That watch must be submitted as evidence at once. Oh, please, just so long as you promise to give it back when we're done. Not a chance. I'll swipe it from you if you try to get your grubby mitts on it again. That's enough. Hand the watch to the bailiff forthwith. Now, children. What's your manners? Good Lord. The glass appears to be broken. More than likely, it shattered when the inspector was shot. It doesn't tick anymore either. Which is why Jabez didn't want it. What a waste, eh? Yes, indeed. It appears to have stopped at the hour of 5. Right, when? Time of death? Doesn't say the time of death. Victim was shot in the chest, close range from the front. And when did they arrive? What was it? What was their statement? Was it like I'm trying to remember. I'm thinking it's 5:30 when they arrived. Exactly when the gunshot was heard then. Oh, okay. Which supports the prosecution's claim, of course. Rexon's pocket watch has been entered into the court record. Well, it would appear that the mystery of the moving notice board has been solved at least. And as predicted, it had very little bearing on the case. Ugh. Now then, continue with your cross-examination, please, counsel. I want to look at the pocket watch first before I carry on, please, but alright. Like, yeah. Pocket watch. What we got here, then? If we had some kind of key, maybe. Huh, there's a tiny little keyhole here, can you see? Oh yes, that's probably for the winder, used to wind up the mechanism. Looks a little unusual, don't you think? Yes, you need just the right key to wind it, I imagine. Why do I feel as though I've seen something? Something a bit like a key that's about the right size to fit in this hole. Why do I make them go together, though? It would be wonderful if we had the key. Let's check carefully over what we've already found. So I'm assuming we check the key now. The glass over the face really is badly cracked, look. What a shame when the inspector clearly looked after it so carefully. Imagine Mr. Shlomes could repair it, don't you? Yes, I should think so. He's very adept at things like this. A useful man to have around, in fact. But kindly remember that he's a great detective, Mr. Naruhodo, not an odd job man. There's a tiny little stub sticking out from this small hole here, look. I suppose there must have been a little knob or something on that for setting the time. If that's the case, seeing as we know the inspector took such good care of this watch. Probably broke when the incident occurred, didn't it? Yes, of course. Which could mean that there's a small part of the watch still at the scene, maybe. Okay, so I think we've checked everything. So, I'm thinking we'll end this part here, and in the next part, we'll have a look at the key again. Yes. So we'll see you in the next part. Ta-ra for now.